Like this.
Now, what you thinking, Pete? Because the next one I was gonna ask you about is when you start getting fed up. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? Go ahead.
couple things uh that I want to cover real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so first, 1 second. I want to make sure I got this right.
I'm gonna go back. Right, I'm gonna go back and watch this recording. I'm gonna be like, I was using some crazy ass words right there, trying to keep up with P's best practices.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, here we go. So we're talking about distractions. I'm gonna say some things probably right now that are that I I don't know how people will take it. I'll just paraphrase it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned this probably before. I'm sure I have on this podcast. I definitely mentioned it before. But so in my book too, I talk about how over the years of me doing what I do for a living, I noticed one thing that I really was doing. And what I really was doing, I was studying people. So I've I've been studying people. What I do for a living and how I choose to do it, it forced me to study people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and when I started to reflect on that, I was studying myself first. That's how I came up with my business and how I do my business. And then because of that, it forced me, my philosophies, my theories on what I do forced me to start to study people and I'll start reflecting on it. Like when I would have issues with people I was training, when things would go well, I saw when I would coach people on how to train how I train, I noticed I was studying people.
Mm-hmm.
So I talk about this in my book. It's like if a person studies something, you know, like they study this thing, like they study fish for years and years and years. It doesn't really matter if they went to a fish university, but if they start studying fish on their own every single day, they go to a pond and they go to different oceans and they go to different waters and they study fish all the time for years and years and years, they're probably going to have an outlook on fish that's not the average outlook. So me, I study, I still to this day study people. So I'm saying all that because what I'm going to say next. So in my humble studying of people, I came up with something that I called the psychology of the average person's mindset. The psychology of the average person's mindset. So when we so mindset is the most important set, train the brain and the body will follow. You can't see the bottom of this behind me, but that's what this full thing says. Mindset is the most important set, train the brain and the body will follow. The psychology of the average person's mindset. What I realized is that when I'm studying my members who come in and train with me, there are similarities between individuals that come in and out of the training. And I can put them into like groups, like category A and category B, not because of their goals, not because of what they want to achieve, not because of their physical health, more because of personality traits, characteristics, and decision making. I can put them into groups. I'm not going to talk about those groups today. I'll talk about them another time, but I can put them into group. But let's just say group A and group B,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I sum that up by saying the psychology of the average person's mindset. So when I talk about the average individual and the psychology of the average person's mindset, there are similarities that people across the board will have, no pun intended, without even thinking about it. Without even thinking about it, people will have some of the same decision making and reactions and actions, no matter where they come from, if they come from the hood or the suburbs, if they come from wealth or poverty, the psychology of the average person's mindset is similar and can be broken down into like category A and category B, but even then, there's still similarities. There are some individuals who decide to be not of the average person's mindset, which takes more work consistently. So one of the things that I encourage my members to do who care to do so and take that task on as a goal is to start thinking outside of the mindset of the average individual. And again, I know what I'm saying. A lot of people may not want to hear or understand, but this is where the conversation is going. So without staying on this too long, the psychology of the average person's mindset basically means that, like I said, it doesn't matter where a person's background is or where they come from, but there are things that individuals across the board are going to do at an average level. Most people will conform in their life instead of excelling in their life. The average, this is just one of the similarities between what I mean by that mindset of average individuals. Most individuals may start off with a big dream that they want to achieve in life, but at some point they can conform and they're not really walking in their purpose. Most people, like I said before, if you were to ask them what is their purpose, most people don't really know. These are traits of the average person's mindset. So when we talk about being distracted and using distractions and using people as distractions is exactly why I say that people are the number one distractions to people. Whether a person is aware of it or not, or whether a person purposely chooses to use a person as a distraction, whether they can identify it as a problem or a good thing, it still points to the fact that people are the number one distraction to people. Sometimes it's by choice. Sometimes it's because of unconscious incompetence. They don't even know. And sometimes it's consciously being made. They're like, I'm using this person as a distraction to this, and it makes me feel better. People do that with celebrities. That's exactly what celebrities are. Celebrities are distractions for people to feel better about their lives when they go to concerts and shit. And two more things. Going from distraction, going from one big, I would tell a person to be careful of just choosing to go from one distraction to what they think is a better distraction, because going from one distraction to another distraction is just another distraction. That's not necessarily change. Jay-Z, and there's an old saying, and Jay-Z said this in a song. He said, you moved, but you was who you was before you got here. So a person can move all the way across the country. I'll pull it up, but he say, you was who you was before you got here. Jay-Z say that in a song, and it's an old saying too. Like, you can move anywhere in the world, go as far as it don't matter where you move to. A person, you was who you was before you got here. You know, people try to act like they,
changing. But people change though, so that might be inaccurate though.
No, but no. You was who you was before you got here means just because you move locations doesn't mean that you change anything about yourself.
Gotcha.
And until you act, and you could have changed, a person can change something about themselves right where they at when they're ready to do the work. So if you change for the better, you change for the better. But just because you change your address don't mean you change anything. You could fake the funk for a minute, but you was who you was. And if you change for the better, then that's who you are. So I would say going from one distraction to another distraction doesn't necessarily mean that that's change. It's just a replacement and a temporary replacement, unless, like you just pointed out, a person actually has changed for the better. But if they're just changing distractions, they're just switching them out. And what's the opposite of a distraction?
Focus.
Absolutely. What you focus on, but also if you take this out, you have the word traction left. So this distraction, and then you have traction. traction, like gaining traction, going forward, gaining traction in the area that a person wants to achieve, what they're focused on. So the more you're focused on traction and less focused on distraction, a person can gain traction going in the right direction. So I would say traction outside of the average person's mindset, traction is far more superior and better when it comes to achieving worthy goals than distraction. Then
You
going
know
from
what
one
song just
distraction
popped?
to another, traction would be more beneficial.
You know what song just popped up in my head?
What's that?
That Goody Mob song. You need to get up, get out, and
Get
get
out and get
something.
something. Don't let the
All right,
days of your life pass
pass
by.
you by. Which takes me to where I was gonna go with you next. Where I said being fed up. Right. This is my question that I'm gonna ask some people. Nobody in particular, but just a general question.
Okay.
Or I only want to say it's a question. Or let's just ain't you sick of this shit?
So bring it back again, because you said it in the midst of me saying what I was saying. You said your next question was about fed up, but bring the whole thing back so we got the whole question.
Nah, just it's not really a question. It's a statement question, like just being fed up. So the you're too old to be going through this shit. You ain't fed up yet. That's the best way to put it. You're too old to be going through this shit. You're too old to be going through this shit.
Yeah.
Some of y'all need to wake the fuck up. And this, let me start talking real quick. This is for a lot of you for a lot of people. I ain't gonna use cursing. I'm gonna try not to. I might. I don't know though.
It happens.
Some of y'all gotta grow up. There's too many grown ass kids out here in this world doing nothing and complaining about what life ain't doing for them. Why you ain't helping me do this? Why y'all can't help me do that? Why ain't nobody looking out for me? Listen here. Get your old ass up. Get your old ass up and go do something with yourself. Nobody owes you shit. Don't nobody owe you a job. Don't nobody owe you a place to stay. Don't nobody owe you food. Hey, don't nobody owe you an education. If you want something in this life, get your ass up and go get it. We got family members, friends, cousins, people, associates, your partners, and we all know somebody who just ain't achieving nothing. And you say to yourself, well, damn, fool, what was you doing this whole time? Like, okay, you didn't want to do right in school, but at some point you didn't say, let me further my education. You know what I'm saying? Or that job may not work, but at some point, man, they fired you. So you didn't think, man, I ain't got no money. Let me get up and get off my ass and go get something. You ain't got no phone. You ain't think, let me go find a phone. You ain't got no food. You ain't think, let me go find a way to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody owe your grown ass nothing. And again, this is not for anybody in particular. It's just for you. Not you, but you get what I'm saying. Whoever watching,
I'm laughing because it's not for anybody in particular. It's just for you.
Right. You know, if it registers, you know what I'm saying? If the shoe fits, put it on. You know what I'm saying? Just some people, man, and because we all have them family members that we need to tell, man, get your ass up and go do something. You ain't sick of being sick. You ain't sick and tired of being sick and tired. You don't want nothing for yourself. You don't want to gain nothing for yourself. You give yourself too many damn distractions, you lose focus. So the opposite of distraction is traction. So now you ain't got no motion. You have no motion out this motherfucker. Shit, slow motion is better than no motion.
Indeed.
But you ain't having no motion, no traction. You're not doing nothing with yourself. So you can watch the world pass you by a million times. You just stand there looking like, damn, that look like it's fun. Man, get your ass in that motherfucker and start doing something. Nothing happens to a person who just stands still. You don't win the lottery if you don't go buy a lottery ticket. You don't get no house if you're living with somebody else and you ain't working. You don't get no education if you don't open up a book, but you're going to listen to everything somebody else say because you think they got all the answers. Man, my partner did this. My partner did that. I got folks who can do this. I know people who, you know people who did something. What are you doing? What are you doing? Before they bring back that old school song, what have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah.
What have you done for yourself lately?
What have you done for your fucking self? Get your lazy ass up and go put your feet to the pavement and make them motherfuckers start beating it. I hate to be so vague with the language, but put your feet to the pavement. We got too many grown adults that's grown children. Get your ass up. Don't nobody owe you nothing. And this is my thing. If you over 18 years old and you already got out of school, now I ain't saying y'all gonna be the brightest and the smartest, but I know at 18 I tried to get everything. I'm trying to get it. I don't want to be sitting over here asking moms for nothing. Too many mouths to feed. If you over this age and you can get a job and if you got your own place, I feel like once you get your own place, all respect levels got to go up for the person who raised you and for you, the people you seeing doing it. Because if once you realize what a person goes through on a daily basis just to have the little bit that they have, or the lot, because the more they got, the harder they probably work to get it. Or somebody worked hella hard to get it,
or even equally hard to keep it. Well, go ahead.
And
harder to keep it. Yeah,
because getting it is one thing, keeping it is a whole nother
not losing
game.
it. Yeah.
But some of y'all be thinking, oh man, P, you got a nice jacket on. You out here getting it. Man, it took that man 4 months to save up for that jacket. But no, y'all only see the glitter and a lot of traction, but nobody wants to see that. Y'all think people got it to give. So what they say, hey, let me borrow this. Hey, let me hold something. Hey, fuck with me. I got you back. Just like they said on the on what's that show I was watching? The Boondock. When he said, hey, can a nigga borrow a fry?
I like that. I like that show too.
Yeah, can a nigga borrow a fry? He said, I didn't even get that. He said, nigga. He said, how you gonna borrow a fry, nigga? Is you gonna give it back? Here's the thing. I hate when people with no drive, with no traction, with no motion, ask for things. If you ain't getting out here trying to help yourself, don't come asking me to help you. This is where we make a lot of mistakes as good people, right? We want to help people. Here, I got you. I done came up, and this is with that curse. This gonna blow some of y'all mind. This that curse right here, where we steady thinking that once we get up, we got to start pulling other motherfuckers up. Look here, not everybody meant to climb that mountain. You pull up the motherfuckers that's walking up that motherfucker with you, not the motherfuckers that's down there looking at you climb, because that's jealousy and envy and laziness. Because once you get up there, they're gonna say, oh nigga, I could have did it. Nigga, it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Well, don't say what you could have did or what you should have did. Say what you did do. Say what you're doing. I don't need your words. Show me your actions, because actions speak louder than words any day.
Indeed.
So if you're not having no motion, and I ain't even saying you got to be a millionaire, billionaire, but if you ain't having no motion in your life with even baby progress, with even baby steps to go get something, with even a sense of dignity, a sense of purpose, a sense of drive, a sense of worth, a sense of self-worth, a sense of self-love. If you're not stepping into your purpose for you, don't come asking me to help you, because I can't help somebody who can't help themselves.
It's much more beneficial to help someone who is helping themselves. That's something that you hear all the time. And it's all these sayings and idioms people use all the time without actually putting them into practice or studying what they really mean. They just say the sayings because they sound good. They heard it somewhere, it sound clever, it sound catchy, and they just regurgitate it without ever, and I'll talk about this in my book, but without ever practicing or putting these things into practice, right? So a lot of these sayings that we're even saying right now, it would be wise for an individual to understand what they really mean and then also put them into practice.